space shuttle and lands.
6 astronauts rocket towards orbit and the International Space Station. The mission had special meaning for Dr. Robert Satcher and Leland Melvin. They became the first African-American men to fly together on a shuttle mission.
It's going to be 3217, comrade.
3217, thanks, Bobby.
Astronaut Bobby Satcher became the second African-American to spacewalk. He also made NASA history, becoming the first orthopedic surgeon in space, conducting a number of medical experiments. He says the future is bright for black astronauts.
There's still a lot of firsts for us to do, and hopefully we'll run out of those firsts pretty quickly, because it's certainly my desire that one of the legacies that I would certainly like to leave behind is bringing in more African-American astronauts.
Mission specialist Leland Melvin controlled the robotic arm that helped Satcher and his crew during the spacewalks. Melvin has been an astronaut for 10 years. He says he's trying to be a role model to young African-Americans.
So many kids got to see 2 African-American men floating around in space for a long time. A lot of people weren't given that opportunity. I think there were barriers there. With dedication, perseverance, anyone in this country can do anything that they put their mind to, and there are no limits.
In the early 1980s, Ronald McNair helped to lift the racial barrier at NASA's astronaut program. McNair and the crew of the Space Shuttle Challenger died when the orbiter exploded shortly after liftoff. Despite the dangers and other people's doubts, Melvin says he was determined to be an astronaut.
I had family members, I had people in my community that told me that, you can't be an astronaut. You don't have this, you don't have that. And I think we do a disservice to our kids when we tell them what they can't do instead of telling them what they can do.
Why should you be an astronaut? Well, I'd say the main reason is if you want to go in outer space.
Back from their recent mission, Satcher and Melvin are trying to encourage these black students to think about careers in the U.S. space program. Both astronauts stress the importance of education. Satcher has an extraordinary background with advanced degrees in chemical engineering and medicine from some of the nation's top universities. He tells these teenagers the key to being an astronaut is having a solid background in math and science.
They're around the technology every day. They just need to understand the technology, how to make it, how to build it, and then they will become scientists, engineers.
Since 1983, there have been 20 black astronauts in the U.S. space program. Both Melvin and Satcher say they hope there'll be many more African-American space explorers, inspired by what they've accomplished not only in outer space, but on Earth. Chris Simkins, VOA News, Washington.